He was smart, he was handsome, and he was pure evil. By the time America realized what he was, dozens of women were already dead. This is the story of how Ted Bundy fooled the world and became one of the most terrifying serial killers in history. He looked like the guy next door, neatly dressed, educated, even charming. But Ted Bundy wasn't your average man. Behind his smile was a cold-blooded killer who preyed on young women across multiple states. He escaped prison twice. He defended himself in court. He even had fans who admired him during his murder trial. But make no mistake, this isn't a story about charisma. This is a story about manipulation, brutality, and deception. Over the course of 4 years, Bundy left behind a trail of terror that shocked the world. And even decades later, his name still sends chills down spines. This is the full story of Ted Bundy, how he fooled America, killed without mercy, and tried to walk away from it all with a smile. Theodore Robert Cowell was born on November 24th, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His birth was shrouded in secrecy. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was unwed, and to avoid the shame, she raised him pretending she was his sister, while his grandparents acted as his parents. Bundy later found out the truth, and that discovery reportedly changed him. Growing up, he was intelligent but isolated. Teachers noted he was quiet, but there was something unsettling about him. He became obsessed with control and dominance, often peeping into windows and fantasizing about violence. He didn't stand out much, until later. But those early cracks were always there. This wasn't just a troubled kid. This was a storm quietly brewing, and no one saw how dark it would get. Ted Bundy understood how people thought. He used that to his advantage. He studied psychology, worked on political campaigns, and even volunteered at a suicide hotline. Co-workers described him as kind and compassionate, but he was always studying people. How to win them over, how to earn trust. His favorite trick? Pretend to be injured. Arm in a sling, leg in a cast, and ask for help. Once the victim leaned in, the trap was set. Bundy would overpower them, take them to secluded spots, and they were never seen alive again. What made Bundy so terrifying wasn't just the killing. It was how normal he looked doing it. He didn't wear a mask. He didn't hide in the shadows. He wore a smile. His first known attacks happened in 1974 in Washington state. Women began disappearing. Young, brunette, slim, often with center-parted hair. He followed a pattern, and nobody connected the dots at first. In one case, a woman vanished in broad daylight at Lake Sammamish after speaking to a man named Ted with his arm in a sling. Witnesses saw him, but no one suspected murder. Then the bodies started appearing, some with signs of extreme violence. Bundy was methodical. He kept trophies. He returned to crime scenes. And he got better at hiding it. Police were stumped. He didn't seem like the type. That's what made him so dangerous. He didn't fit the profile. He rewrote it. By 1975, Bundy had moved across multiple states: Utah, Colorado, Idaho, leaving a trail of death behind. He abducted women from college campuses, parking lots, and even their homes. Each killing was more confident than the last. He wasn't just murdering. He was hunting. The FBI got involved. A nationwide manhunt began. Finally, he was arrested in Utah after police found suspicious items in his car: handcuffs, a ski mask, a crowbar. But he wouldn't stay locked up for long. Bundy was just getting started. Bundy escaped from jail not once, but twice. His second escape was jaw-dropping. He dropped 30 pounds, squeezed through a ceiling hole, and walked right out of prison in a stolen guard uniform. From Colorado, he fled to Florida, where his crimes reached a horrific climax. On January 15, 1978, he broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. In less than 15 minutes, he bludgeoned and strangled multiple women. 2 died. Others were left with lifelong injuries. Just weeks later, he abducted and murdered 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. That was the final straw. He was caught days later after a routine traffic stop. Bundy's trial wasn't just about justice. It became a spectacle. Cameras rolled in the courtroom. Bundy represented himself. He questioned witnesses. He smiled at reporters. And women, hundreds of them, showed up to see him. Some even wrote love letters. He proposed to a woman on live TV. He treated his trial like a stage, but the evidence was clear. Bite marks, eyewitnesses, physical proof. The jury didn't buy the act. In 1979, Ted Bundy was found guilty and sentenced to death. Twice. But even then, he fought to delay execution, filing appeals, stalling with more confessions. As his death neared, Bundy started talking. He confessed to over 30 murders, but many believe the real number is much higher. He said he couldn't stop himself, that something would just take over. He blamed violent media. He blamed pornography, but he never truly accepted responsibility. In interviews, he referred to victims as objects. He described his crimes with a chilling lack of emotion. For him, it wasn't about rage. It was about control, dominance, and power. And the scariest part? He was still trying to manipulate everyone, right up to the end. On January 24th, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair at Florida State Prison. Outside the gates, a crowd gathered. People danced, some cheered, others held signs that read, "Burn Bundy, burn." After more than a decade of terror, his reign was over. His ashes were scattered in the mountains of Washington, ironically near where he dumped many of his victims. But even in death, his name lived on. Bundy became the subject of books, documentaries, movies, podcasts, even fan pages. But we can't forget. This isn't a story to glamorize. It's a warning. Ted Bundy taught the world a dark lesson. Evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes, it smiles. He was a master manipulator, a cold-hearted killer who wore the mask of normalcy better than anyone. He didn't just murder, he deceived. His story continues to fascinate because it taps into our deepest fears. That someone like him could be out there right now, hiding in plain sight. If there's one thing to take away, it's this. Trust your instincts. Monsters are real. And sometimes they look just like us.